This video shows how we could use shader effects in Helios to do some stuff. Specifically, I was looking at nighttime lighting and night vision compatible lighting for the cockpit. This is basically just going to be me narrating over two videos I made in 2019 when I worked on this. Maybe to restart a discussion or see if there's something we can do with this. Yeah, basically, the situation was, in Helios, we don't, we have these virtual cockpit. Usually comes as a profile from Captain Zine, and most of them come in a day lighting. And if you set up your game to for a night mission, and you sit there in the dark, and all your physical controls are nicely dimmed and all that good stuff, but you got these Helios screens and they're like blaring you in the face with their super bright daylight displays. It kind of destroys the immersion quite a bit. So one thing that could be done about that is you could do a whole second set of art, right? You could do all new bitmaps of all the controls, how they look at night with the night lighting and everything. And I believe Zine has done that for one or profile or two, I don't know. But it's a lot of work, and it's not generally, it's not generally directly supported by, so Helios to sort of do it for you. So I was trying to, plus also you can't adjust it. So if you do have the two sets of bitmaps, you can't really like have a button that turns the cockpit lights up and down like you have in the plane. So anyways, long story short, Helios is is a Windows application. It draws, and as such it can have shader effects. And so I started experimenting with adding the capability to Helios to do shader effects. And so here's a demo. You can see it from the old style of the UI. This was back in 2019 when I was just starting with my Helios involvement. And so what I did here is I put a shader effect on this monitor, and then I have these tuning parameters over in the UI, and then I just adjust them to basically try to threshold out to like pick out what should be lit in a night view. And if you get it wrong, it looks terrible, and if you get it exactly right, then it looks kind of okay. So basically, if you assume that all the bright white bits, all the bright white pixels would have been backlit in the UI, in the actual cockpit, then you can create this kind of look of like green glowing things on a black background. And then for the ambient light portion, if once you get it tuned up a little bit, you can actually bind one of the parameters to how much ambient light you want to mix in, which would kind of simulate, well, you can see it here, it kind of simulates how it might look if you had some cockpit lighting on but also the green backlighting. But it doesn't really look accurate at all, because you see the ends of the buttons where they're kind of shaded flat white. That all got selected for lighting, and those knobs wouldn't be lit like that. The dials look pretty good. I mean, it looked better than the bright gray Helios ones. But I think in the end, I thought this wouldn't really please anybody who was into accuracy and milsimmers and stuff like that. And I don't know if they use Helios anyway, but basically it might not be sort of good enough to really make people very happy. So we should probably look at it also. Running. I think I have another little old clip that I also unearthed, which shows the effects actually running in the cockpit. So here we are. It's like we've fixed it, and we set it up. We set the effect up, and we tied it to the cockpit. In the bottom right corner, you can see my DCS screen. So I'm clicking the day, night, or night vision mode in the cockpit, and that triggers 3 different sets of effects, so 3 different shader settings, like off, and then one tuned set of parameters and another tuned set of parameters, to try to get the 3 looks. I can even tie the ambient, like I mentioned earlier. I can tie the ambient light to like the like a panel lighting button in the cockpit or whatever. There's a lot of work that could be done. I'm not sure if it's the right way, or if the correct way would just be to do 2 sets of images and that's what you get, or to maybe then we could do a much better job of shading the specific controls correctly. But again, I have no idea where to get the resources to get that work done. I mean, that seems like that would be a lot of work, but that's as far as I got. Thanks for your time.